Hello guys, welcome back to today's video. My name is Ogechi. What's your name? I'd love to know your name and where you're watching me from. Do well to click on the red subscribe button if you're seeing my face for the first time, and make sure you like this video and drop your comments. For returning subscribers and returning viewers, thank you so much for always coming back to my channel. Do well to share this video, drop your comment as well, and I always love to reply in the comment section. Also, you could also suggest what you'd like me to react to, so that we can get this moving and growing and grow a very growing big community. Anyway, today's video is from Black perspective, Black conservative perspective. Woke MSNBC panel and Joy Reid cry voters are racist in meltdown over Trump dominating Super Tuesday. Woo, that looks like a lot. Let's get to the video.
In terms of the new reporting that we have from just outside of her campaign headquarters, I'm told by a campaign source that the mood inside, and this might surprise you, is jubilant. And throughout the day, I have heard the phrase happy warrior from all of these folks that are either getting out the vote for Nikki Haley in these waning hours of Super Tuesday, or who are hunkered down after traveling to over 7 or 8 states in just as many days these last week and a half. They say they're playing music. A lot of this music has a certain female tint to it. Things like started from the bottom, now they are here. Sort of things that reference where she started in this race and the fact that she is now in a place where she is waiting to see how she does against Donald Trump.
A few moments later.
Well, thank you very much. They call it Super Tuesday for a reason. This is a big one. And they tell me, the pundits and otherwise, that there's never been one like this. There's never been anything so conclusive. This was an amazing night, an amazing day. It's been an incredible period of time in our country's history. It's been sad in so many ways, but I think it's going to be inspiring, because we're going to do something that, frankly, nobody's been able to do for a long time. I read an article yesterday where it said this is one of the finest run campaigns that anybody has ever seen. That's pretty good, right? That's pretty good. It's really a statement. And we have no choice, because November 5th is right around the corner. November 5th is going to go down as the single most important day in the history of our country. We're going to take it, and we're going to make it like it should be, respected. Right now, we're not respected. Right now, our country is known as a joke.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about Super Tuesday, okay? And this is a early analysis of what we're saying, because Super Tuesday was certainly a super day for former President Trump, as he is dominating across the board, okay? As you can see here, this map indicates that, yeah, Trump won in a lot of key states. Texas being the state with the second most delegates up for grabs, dominating Nikki Haley, almost 80% of the vote for Trump. You had North Carolina, another state that I think could tell a story for Trump in regards to how much of a grip he has over the GOP. 75% of the vote there. Also, Mark Robinson pulled off the win in the GOP primary there. Virginia is a state that also was a key state that a lot of people were looking at. Trump has won that state with about 63% of the vote. He pulled off Tennessee with almost 80% of the vote. Alabama, 83% of the vote. Arkansas, 74% of the vote. Yeah, he's just dominating across the board, okay? But Nikki Haley did win one state, okay? She did win one state. She won the state of Vermont, okay? And she barely won this state. Now, again, Vermont is a weird state. I mean, they have a progressive senator in Bernie Sanders. So, this is definitely one of those states where if Trump was going to lose a state, it would probably be this one. But effectively, is over. Okay, this party has become the party of Trump, and even CNN is admitting that.
The map tells you what you need to know. The delegate count tells you what you need to know. The percentage of it has actually jumped up even more. It's 88% of the delegates, so you're looking at the percentage. Donald Trump cannot mathematically clinch tonight, but he can get within 100 or so of what he needs, and he can do that next week. And so what you have here is, he has remade the party in his image. There are still some Republicans who are trying to take it away, like take it back. Right? That's over. That's over. There's no back. That party doesn't exist anymore. Right. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. Look at the House of Representatives. Look at what's happening in the United States Senate. Mitch McConnell stepping aside. And some of the more governing conservatives trying to keep their power even just within the Senate Republican conference. This is a new Republican Party, and so you have a very formidable Republican frontrunner who has remade the party in his image. And I know a lot of people at home are asking, well, wait a minute. We all saw January 6th. Wait a minute. Innocent until proven guilty, but there's all these cases. He has convinced them he won the last election. Never mind anything that happened since then. A majority of these voters are going to the polls in most of these states still saying that Donald Trump should be president. Yeah. And so this is his party. And again, sometimes I think stop talking. Just look. This is his party, and he is on a march to the nomination. That does not mean if the general election were tomorrow, there's a lot of data that suggests he would win at this moment in time. It is not tomorrow. It's 8 months from now. So you have two very strong frontrunners who both have very significant weaknesses. And then you have the question of the third-party candidates, which I raised earlier.
And so the weaknesses come in the sense of, in very much the way you're talking about how he is reforming the Republican Party. More working class people, including voters of color, African-American, men primarily, but also Latinos. And also the Democrats picking up more educated voters. There's also, so you talked about the education divide, also a big gender divide. Yep. Men voting Republican, women voting Democrat.
Yeah, so you're seeing that, you're hearing that, okay? Even CNN knows that the writing is on the wall, okay? I'm not sure how anybody else can spin these results. We'll see what Nikki Haley actually comes out and says. I know one thing, Trump did not mention Nikki Haley in his speech, which means that he's in general election mode, okay? I think that Trump should actually just ignore Nikki Haley from here on out, avoid talking about her, avoid attacking her, just ignore her. She's done, okay? But you do have some people in the mainstream level media that are openly cheering on Nikki Haley to stay in the race because she's a good surrogate for the establishment Republicans to continue to attack Trump and to weaken his general election candidacy, which is exactly what MSNBC is cheering on here.
What's Haley going to do? Same thing she's been doing. Why stop?
Yeah, I guess that's right. I guess if the money keeps rolling in, right? If you can still continue to fundraise.
It doesn't cost her anything to keep campaigning. She doesn't have another job.
Nope, it's true.
I mean, the point of
I guess if you win a state, I guess I'm just sort of like running the math on the outcome here.
Well, what are the reasons to run for president? People run for president to win the presidency. Yeah. People run for other reasons too, right? I don't think that any of the third-party candidates, for example, that we have ever thought they were actually going to become president, except perhaps for Ross Perot and Teddy Roosevelt. But we're never going to. You can't necessarily get into the mind here, but we can see the effect of her candidacy. You know what? Which is keeping trusted Republican voices about Donald Trump in the mix while Donald Trump runs for the presidency.
Keeping trusted Republican voices about Donald Trump in the mix is Nikki Haley's job, aka to be a surrogate for the establishment and Democrats to attack Trump. Okay, that's what MSNBC is openly cheering on. That is what Nikki Haley is consciously choosing to do if she continues to stay in the race. If Nikki Haley continues to stay in the race, we know at this point that she is not working on behalf of unifying the party or doing what's best for the party. She's working on behalf of the establishment and the Democrats. That's what she's doing. Okay, so it remains to be seen what Nikki Haley will actually do. If she's going to run third party, it's either now or never, right? She needs to decide that, hey, that's what I'm going to do. At this point, she has no chance of winning a GOP primary. So, I wouldn't be shocked if she came out and made that announcement, even though she claims she wouldn't do it. But who knows? Nikki Haley's word doesn't really mean anything. However, we don't know, right? My hope is that she just bows out, calls it quits, and, try to live to fight another day. Because if she continues to do what she's doing right now, she's not going to have a future in the Republican Party at all, okay? She's not going to be able to run in 2028. So with that being said, the mainstream liberal media, again, MSNBC, they cannot analyze this overwhelming victory for Trump without pulling the race card, in the sense that they are crying hate and bigotry. They're saying that Trump voters are not voting for Trump because of his economic policies, or the fact that, most people agree that under Trump their lives were better, okay, that Trump's policies benefited them more than Biden's policies. No, it can't be that. According to Joy Reid and the woke revolutionaries at MSNBC, Trump voters are voting for Trump because of race. Everything has to do with race, which I think is a projection from this panel here, because I actually think that's how Democrats vote, right? Democrats vote based off race, and they're trying to project that onto GOP voters. So let's listen in on this.
And in some ways, we think about evangelicals and Trump as being so different, right? These godly, faithful people, and this unfaithful person who's been found guilty in civil trial of sexual assault. The issue of race animates Donald Trump. The issue of race has long animated the evangelical movement. And in some ways, it makes perfect sense that you're seeing the unity that you are today.
And I'm so glad. Again, it's so just like MSNBC to just openly attack Christians, right? This is what they do. I mean, there's an actual attack on Christianity by the mainstream liberal media. Okay, they come out here and they openly trash Christians. They openly trash white rural voters. And then they wonder why these voters don't want to get on board with voting for somebody like Joe Biden or Democrats, because that side of the political aisle openly trashes those people as less than because of their beliefs, right? It's amazing. Every time Trump wins, the first thing they do is they come out here and they talk junk about Christians, right? As if, the opinions of Christian voters or white rural voters don't matter, right? That if you don't agree with us, then you must be a bigot. Again, they show you how much they really hate normal people. They don't like normal people. The elitism is disgusting.
You said that because Chris Hayes, I think, made a really excellent point that you're seeing this sort of disconnect between a president that is a white working class guy himself and that keeps doing all of these things that disproportionately benefit white working class Americans in red states. And
Joe Biden is not white and working class. Joe Biden is a politician. He's been a politician his whole life. There's nothing working class about Joe Biden. Like, come on. The spin here is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. It's more amazing than this blonde wig that Joy Reid is wearing. The most colonized woman in mainstream liberal media is always the one talking about race, okay? And she always shows her disdain for white working class people and white voters. Again, it's amazing to me. Absolutely amazing.
And their reaction to him is they hate him more, like the more he does. And it is because the most economically vulnerable voters tend to be young voters who tend to be more voters of color. They're economically vulnerable, and they tend to hold the president to account if they can't afford their lives or can't pay their student loans. They vote that way. But Republican voters don't vote that way. They don't vote based on economics or based on the benefits they're getting economically from the president. They're increasingly, from the Tea Party on, they're voting on race. They're voting on this idea of an invasion of brown people over the border. The idea that they can't get whatever job they want. A black person got it, therefore drive all the blacks out of the colleges, get rid of DEI. That is what they're voting on. They're just voting specifically on racial animus at this stage. It isn't about economics. No.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. I can't believe that this is the type of analysis that you're seeing on MSNBC. Again, I've never heard Joy Reid analyze anything in politics without using the lenses of race. And this is just bad. Like, this is just terrible. There's no facts right, at all to back up the things that she's saying. Because every single poll, general election poll, with Joe Biden and Donald Trump, most voters are saying that, yeah, Trump's policies economically benefited me more than Joe Biden's. We trust Trump more on the economy. They trust Trump more on immigration. They trust Trump more on crime. These are the issues that voters are voting on. But again, in Joy Reid's world, no. It's impossible to see that under a president like Trump, where this economy was the best that it's been in a long time, inflation was at historic lows. We had consistent 2.5% GDP growth per year, which was better than the Obama administration and the average that he was getting per year in GDP growth. We had a 3.5% unemployment, which was above expectations, even by the Federal Reserve. So Trump was performing better when it came to unemployment, and that was thanks to the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. You have black poverty had fell below 20% for the first time since World War II. You had black unemployment fall below 6% and fell to a record low under Trump. Income inequality diminished. You had median household incomes rise. And this was all what was happening under the Trump administration, at least the first 3 years, which I think are the only 3 years really that count, because I don't really count the COVID year because, again, I think that's just a mulligan. But regardless, the Trump economy was booming, okay? Absolutely booming. And that's what people want. That's what people are voting for, right? Versus the Biden economy, where we see record high inflation that we haven't seen since the 70s and 80s. And people aren't able to afford the basics, okay? We have a record when it comes to personal debt, okay? People are taking out more debt than ever, along with the increase in interest rates. People are being crushed, right? Being absolutely crushed. But yeah, again, people like Joy Reid, she's too stupid to understand that. Oh no, these people must be voting based on race. They must be voting because they hate blacks and Latinos. Well, if they hate black people so much, why do they vote for Mark Robinson in North Carolina? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Again, the level of analysis on MSNBC is at an all-time low. This is why legacy media is dying. This is why it's dying. This type of analysis is the bottom of the barrel. When you just sum up the world, they're just racist, right? They're just racist. And these are the same people that's going to be shocked. They're going to have this stupid ass look on their face when Trump wins in November, and then they'll be asking, well, why did Trump win? How did Trump win? Well, if you didn't look at everything through the lenses of race, you will understand why Trump is winning. Again, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
No, which is why Trump killed the immigration bill.
Correct.
That's why. And because otherwise he can't run against the other and brown people and people who don't look like him, like his supporters, his base of supporters, coming across the border and scaring people and killing people or whatever he's threatening out there. I mean, if you look at some of these exit polls, I mean, I live in Virginia.
It's not even a threat. Like, this is not an idea. They think that the negative ramifications of illegal immigration is an idea. Like, it's just made up, right? It's fear mongering when it's not, right? We've seen it. Again, we had illegals jump a police officer in New York City, in a major city. We have these liberal cities that are on the verge of collapse because of the illegal immigration crisis. We have illegals committing murders. We have gangs from Venezuela operating in the United States of America. And these people are acting like that this is just made up. That these are just talking points. This is just fear mongering that have no basis in reality. These people are in for a rude awakening. They're in for a reality check come November. I'm telling you.
Immigration was the number one issue. I mean, again, these could change in Virginia.
Well, Virginia does have a border with West Virginia. Very contested area.
Build a wall. Like, what? I mean, when I was in
see, they're mocking Virginian Republicans for being concerned about the border, as if the whole country shouldn't be concerned about the negative effects of illegal immigration. Oh, well, Virginia is not a border state, so therefore they shouldn't be concerned about the effects of illegal immigration. It must be racism. But look at what happened in Georgia. Georgia's not a border state. And look what happened there. Look what happened there. Again, these people are living in a bubble, right? They're living in a liberal elitism bubble. And they're showing you that they're not in touch with everyday average Americans. And again, this is despicable.
New Hampshire, people were talking about the northern border as a threat because Trump has indoctrinated people with this fear of people who do not look like them being a threat to them.
But as, you know, I mean, and every election cycle, particularly when there's a Democratic incumbent, we get reminded about the borders, and the borders become a thing again. And then if there's a Republican in office, we don't think about them anymore. It's the deficit.
Well, yeah, when Trump was in office, the border wasn't that much of an issue, but you were talking about the border when you were upset with Trump's border policies that were there to deter illegal immigration. So don't pretend like we don't talk about the border when Trump is in office. It's just Democrats and liberals complain about Trump not being softer on the border, right? That's what they boo-hoo on and complain about.
And the border, like you make these things an issue, you make them into boogeymen, you make them into something that grabs you from under the bed at night as soon as you wake up. As long as there's a Democratic incumbent to blame on it, you make sure that nothing's ever done to fix either, and then you hope that people stop talking about them once you've got a Republican in office. It's just the same thing my entire adult life.
But the only difference now is they dropped the every 4 years part, and now I mean all the programming about cities is the coded threat of crime and
meanwhile, on Earth One, the FBI reports that violent crime in America is at a 50-year low.
And migrant crime is not a thing.
Ridiculous. Not in these liberal cities, is not. In some parts of the country, the same parts, but not in the liberal cities.
Migrant crime is not a thing, and you live on Earth One.
Migrant crime is not a thing. Wow, amazing.
This is a very complicated concept, I know, because Fox News is right there.
Again, these people are in for a reality check. They're in for a rude awakening coming November. I cannot wait to see the meltdown when Trump wins the presidency again. I can't wait. I cannot wait. And I will look back at segments like this and I'll say, yeah, this is why you're shocked. Because you are the ones that were out of touch with reality. And this is why you can't fathom the idea that the American people will put Donald J. Trump back in the White House. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.
I also can't wait for September, or I also can't wait, to see the shock on their faces, because they will be surprised when Trump goes back into office. Because they on MSNBC panel, they think some people are voting because of race, other people are voting for political reasons, economic reasons. People are actually voting for the right reasons, and not all of this. Another thing is that once you're not a Trump supporter, or once you do not support a party strongly, right, there's every tendency for you to bring up unnecessary things. So I think that is one of the issues going on here. They mentioned so many things. They had so many conversations, and also Super Tuesday is also celebrated because Trump won in so many cities. So it is called Super Tuesday because he won in so many cities. I think I'd love to know what you guys think about this video. Are you also surprised, or will you also be surprised when Trump, even though we already know the outcome, right? This is just like a review or reaction to this video. Were you surprised when what happened at the end of the day? Let me know what you think about this video in the comment section. Like this video, make sure you subscribe, make sure you share, and I'll see you in my next episode.